How do you set goals for 2021? Well, stick around because in today's video, I'm going to give you a method for how you can set goals for 2021. Welcome back to my videos with me, Johnny Pardo, here on the Self-Esteem and Confidence Mindset. So, why is it important that we get really clear and spend the right amount of time setting and planning our goals for 2021? Well, I don't know, maybe because it's the rest of your life? Well, that'd be my reason anyway. And then what has that got to do with self-esteem and confidence? Well, you're creating and moving towards what you really want. And when we don't, we're not going to feel as good about our life or who we are. So therefore, it's really important that you take the time and effort to set and plan your goals. Now, I hear the phrase sometimes, oh, I like to live in the moment and take each day. Now, yeah, it's definitely the best place to be, is the present, because we can't go back to the past and we can't control the future. We can only be in the present moment and where we are now. But life is too busy. There are too many challenges and the world, to be totally honest, is too competitive for us to just start trying to blag things. And I've heard this from many people I follow, all the entrepreneurs, all the people I inspire to, and I found out this for myself. When I try to blag days and just go through life just not thinking about it, I struggle some days because I just be so reactive and not planning anything. So it's definitely right to get the balance between planning and flexibility. We need some room space, breathing space even. But we do need to make sure we've got time for setting our goals and planning them. Now, are the goal plans going to be 100% accurate? And are we going to follow them line for line? And should we be scripting out our life? No, that's not going to happen. Challenges come in life, unforeseen circumstances come in. But by planning your goals, you've got direction in your life. It's like you wouldn't get in a car and then just go, right, I'd like to get to destination B, and not type it in and have no idea where it is. Else you'd just be going, you'd be lost. That's the same with your life. You really need to know where you're going. And when you've got that direction, you're going to feel good because you'll feel like you're making some kind of progress. And that's certainly how I felt. But the goals I found out from my life, and when I've worked, when I've coached clients, or when I've been coached myself, is when I've not succeeded or I found it challenging to get to a goal, it's because I haven't been keeping it visible or I haven't been that clear on how I'm actually going to reach the goal. So I'm going to go through my steps now. The first one is just brainstorm. Get a piece of paper and pen, and this isn't just for 2021, it's for the rest of your life. Write down, what are your goals? What do you want to achieve in life? 1 year, 3 years, 5 years, 10 years. What do you want? If you were a 5-year-old kid again, what would you want? And it can be in the areas of finance, it could be in the areas of physical health, mental health, relationships, career, anything. Just put it down on paper. Just spend 5 minutes, a few minutes, 5 minutes brainstorming all of these. Take longer if you want, but 5 minutes, let's say 5 minutes minimum. That's usually how long I spend on a minimum of doing it. And then just brainstorming, getting these ideas out of your head, go wild. And then what you do, the second step is, I want you to think about the ones which you could realistically but ambitiously achieve in the next year. So what are the things you really like to do? Would you like to buy that flat in the next year? Would you like to write that book in the next year? Would you like to get such and such business? Would you like to go on holiday somewhere? Obviously, probably don't know how limited we'll be with the whole situation, but would you like to aim to go on holiday somewhere? So just start picking those ones for the next year. Maybe make a list of 10, 5 to 10. I was thinking 15 then, but that can be a bit of an overload. But if you want to go for 15, go for 15. I tend to go between 5 and 10 goals for the year. And then just set them and think what you want to achieve. Next thing I want you to do is think about your why and your consequence. And I put these together, but your why is, Why do I really want this goal? Why is it that important? And if you can't think of why it's that important to you, perhaps you've got the wrong goal. And then also on the other side, what's the consequence? So what's going to happen if you do not achieve this goal? Will you be miserable in a job still? Will you feel a bit lonely? Will you feel frustrated? Will you be stressed? Is someone you love not going to be cared for as much? Just think outside yourself for these goals as well. I should have mentioned that. Well, it's going to give other people, that can be your why as well. So think about what's going to drive you to make you feel good, but then think about what's the pain that's going to happen if you do not hit the goals. So put that to each of these goals you put in the next year. And then put a deadline. Now, I know I said giving them a year in the next year, but you need to be more specific than that. You need to think about what month and what date of the month do I want to achieve. So you could say you want to achieve this by June. Is that the start of June, the 1st of June, or the end of June? Because if we don't put deadlines to things, they're just wishes. And also, if we're not tracking them regularly and moving towards dates rather than putting them all for the end of the year, then we're going to lose accountability and record of how we're getting on. So put specific dates to things. Next one, make it visible. There's a saying that goes, when something is measured, it improves, which is so true. And this is what slips most people up with their New Year's resolutions. They'll say it, they won't write it down, big mistake, and they won't track it therefore. You need to not only write it down, but you need to track it regularly. I'll give you an example from my own life. This year, at the start of this year, I was talking to 2 work colleagues, and I was saying before, well, this was pre the pandemic, but the goal wouldn't have been impacted either way. But I said, right, I'm going to read 50 books this year, okay? And then one of them said they'll read 20, and the other one said they didn't set a target, which is fine. We're just having a conversation. And then I got to about July, August time, and I thought, I was talking to them again, and then I realised how many books I said I'd read. Was it 30? Was it 40? I'd forgotten it, didn't write it down. And then I realised it was 50, and now I'm busting a gut. I'd read about 20 by July, August. And one book I'd read a few times, but I didn't count that as multiple. Or I could have, but I didn't. I feel like that would be cheating myself. And I realised I've got to read like 2 books a week for the rest of the year, or something like that. I worked it out to be. So I've been busting a gut to get to it, and actually I've got 4 books left in the time of I'm shooting this. I've got 2 weeks to read 4 books left of 2020. So it's really important to focus on putting them visible and regularly reviewing it. And then the 6th one, tell somebody. Be really accountable to someone. Tell them what you want to achieve. And when we just keep it to ourselves, write it down, keep it visible, that's good. But if you tell someone else, the chances of it increasing, the chances of you successfully doing it increases dramatically. And I found that when I tell my group that I'm going to make this amount of episodes this week, I'm going to create this, I'm going to get in contact with this person, I'm going to write this amount in my book, or various things like that, then I found I've almost had 100% completion rate, if not 95% of completing my goals when I'm telling someone. So that's the final step. So that's how you can set goals. You've got to be really specific, really identify what you want, be clear on the why, put clear timelines attached to them, make it visible, and tell somebody. I do hope you've got some value out of today's video. If you have enjoyed it, I really appreciate it if you could share it with friends and family, because then I can just reach more people and give them this message for how they can set their goals in more detail. And if you're watching this in January, February, it's not too late to start your goals. Later January, February, I mean. It's not too late to start setting your goals. You still got the rest of the year. It's never too late to start setting new goals. You don't have to wait every single calendar year. You can keep going. And if you're watching this video on YouTube, then you can also subscribe to my channel or hit the bell to be notified when I release a new video. Once again, I really appreciate you, and I will catch you in the next video.